Ever since I've known that we were going to have children, I knew that the schooling would be an issue. Comment dit the three little pigs?
Les trois petits cochons.
Bonjour! What are you guys doing? No, I'll get it on. Did he give you a bisou? Oh, he loves you.
Is that a woof woof? Is that a woof woof?
When we were on our trip, I had a lot of friends asking me, what are you guys doing for Juju and Fifi's schooling next year? And I had the hardest time explaining it. So, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of questions over the years, so I'm going to practice with the audience, trying to explain why and how we're doing this unschooling, world schooling life.
That's me. Yeah. Mama.
Bye, Papa! So we're just leaving the house going to indoor play place. So I'll tell you a little bit more about why and how we're choosing to keep these cute kiddos with us. Just getting some gas. Oh, my hair's crazy. So the reason that we homeschool is because, okay, let me explain this. So yeah, the reason that we are going to keep Juju home next year is ever since I've known that we were going to have children, I knew that the schooling would be an issue because of Alex's schedule. He's a chef. He goes to work from like around 11 to midnight every day, or 5 days a week. The problem being is if and when the girls started school or kids started school, they would never see him, and kind of our family unit would fall apart because our kids sleep 9 to 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. So then I stay up with him from about 12 till 1, 2, we watch a show or we hang out and talk, and that's our time. So if I have to start taking kids to school at 7, 8 a.m., I won't be able to stay up anymore with him, or we won't be able to have our relaxed mornings. And so then, you start to think, well, that's kind of selfish. That's just life. You have to take kids to school and, figure out a different time for family time, I guess. I don't know what people do. I really don't know what people do for family time. For me, it's just like, no, that's unacceptable. So I've always tried to find different solutions of oh, well, maybe we could do it like this or do it like this. And then I thought we would have half-day kindergarten. So we would have a whole year to kind of see how that went. Juju could go a couple hours in the afternoon, and we would have a great introduction to schooling and how that was all gonna work. Well, just last year they mandated it to be full-day kindergarten, no choice. It was about a year and a half ago that I got really serious into looking at okay, so I'm homeschooling. What's the best way of homeschooling? Well, I know a friend who is traveling the world with his kids and his family, and I asked him, okay, so what do you do for your girls, and what tips can you tell me? And he said, actually, we don't homeschool, we unschool them. And I'm like, well, so what's that? And he bought me for my birthday a video about it was a documentary about unschooling. So me and Alex watched it together in the middle of the night one night, and we're like, holy cow, this is really cool. So that part is the hard part to explain of what is it exactly. So let me explain that next. But it kind of opened our window or our eyes to this idea of oh, so homeschooling, we're not just going to do school at home. We're not going to teach math, English, and science in conjunction, in little periods, and get all the kids around the table, kind of like what I envisioned, which I thought myself. So many people think, oh, I could never do that. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have the discipline or the structure to sit them down, and I just think that would be a mess. Because I was already dreading homework, the idea of sitting the kids down at the table and being like, okay, now's the time. Pay attention. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster, and parents losing it, and kids pulling away, and the breakdown of the family, the mom and the kid dynamic. So I really was curious about this other idea. So I'll tell you more in a minute. Louie's taking a nap, so this actually works. I'm gonna let him do a few more minutes in the car. But back to the story. So so he travels the world with his kids, and he kind of just phrased it as we're just world schooling, using the world as our classroom. We don't teach a specific curriculum. And then from the gosh, I'll look up the name of the documentary you sent me, and it just showed how it showed many examples of kids following what their thing is. And so like what I always phrase it now is like, think of like the things that you were obsessed with as a kid. Like me, it was always reading. Like I was like always with a book in my hand. I love the library, I love books, and like that's still my passion to this day. And I feel really underserved by the school system. I don't know. I totally think it goes back to personality type. That's it. Like that's plain and simple. Like I don't think it's like yes or no or if anybody's real. Like it just goes back to personality type. And that's where I still wonder is, you know, what if we find out that this works really well for one of our kids but doesn't work well for other kids? And so that could that's the forever one. We might find that doesn't work for one of our other kids. And so I'm not saying this is going to be an easy road. It's still a lot of juggling, but it also brings into play the like French aspect and like teaching French or teaching them French. We don't have a little French school or immersion schools like some places do. I know there are wonderful schools out there. There's things called freedom schools, democratic schools, where like it's more flexible schooling in that like why do kids really need to go to school 8 to 10 hours a day? It's because their parents are working 8 to 10 hours a day. There's no real proven thing that like sitting in a classroom and for 8 hours it's like more or less beneficial for you. Actually pretty sad that my kids can't find a hybrid. So that's what I'm trying to do is really either create or find a hybrid system to where I can take them and let them learn independence and learn other things like with other kids, and the mix of like being at home, working on our family dynamics and sibling relationships. All right, we ready to get out? So this morning, for example, we woke up and Louis is being so cute right now. He'll come to me and he'll bring me a book and he'll sign please. And so he did that this morning again, and so we sat and we read stories or we read books to him. And then Juju has been reading to her little brother, which I showed you. So we started to tell stories this morning, and Juju really gets it. Huh, Juju? What's the 3 parts of a story?
First, we read the characters. After there's a problem, then we solve the problem.
You got it. I kind of just, and plus I should mention that I have a background in early childhood environments and education. Part of my degree as family and consumer science, I took classes like early childhood environments, family life, family everything. So I have a background in that, and I was almost a preschool teacher at one point before I went to another job. I just love it. Like I really think that's kind of my personality. Like I get such a kick out of watching them learn. Who knows? I always wonder if I'll be a good mom when they get older, because I just don't know. I love little kid stuff. That's all I know right now. Oh, we woke him up, so time to go inside. But
a little Christian.
What are you guys doing? I really want to know. I'm really trying to solve this problem. I'm in the middle of the story. You've met the characters. That's us. Emily, Juju, Fifi, and Louis, and Alex. I'm introducing the problem. We don't know what to do for schooling. Can you help us solve the problem? You did it! So I tell them their job is to learn and play every day. And we come out once a day and either be with friends. I try and make lots of friends for them. And I'm just proactive that way. So, and Juju, I've had so much fun watching. I really think she's gonna be reading in the next, I feel like she's already quite there. She's really interested in spelling, sight words, recognizing, and all, not by my coercion, by like just being curious from reading. Like she really wants to figure it out. So I just slowly guide her and try and not panic myself of like, okay, so she's learning it, so let's jump all over it. And I have some programs that I really like. If anybody's curious more about this, I can create a resource list. We all can learn together. Okay, do it, baby, do it. You got it. Well, see, I jumped all over him too early. He was going right to do it. Just as a general disclaimer, of course, I know this is not for everybody. You could never force anybody to do it this way if you wanted. It's truly only for people that find themselves in this position like I am. It has very little to do with whether or not the school systems are good or not, or like, I think they're great options.
It's a Maui song!
Yay, we're so excited! Lulu, go Lulu! Yay!
Oh my gosh! Sing! Yes! Let's dance!
A little bit of that. Oh, Juju's been sad she left her snack. And Lulu's been comforting her. Oh, and giving her hugs and kisses while she cries. It's been very adorable.
A large help. Wait a minute. It's great that we get
That's
energy from all this, but what happens?
So tell me what you did in your quiet time. What'd you learn about?
I learned about the body, the stomach, how it works, proteins. Your tongue helps you. It helps you digest. So the food goes into your body, and they go into tiny parts. And that's why your mommy always says, eat your food well.
What did you learn about today in your quiet time? Were you learning about French animals? Comment on dit the three little pigs?
Les trois petits cochons. J'aime danser le soir. Et voilà, c'est fini. Et voilà, c'est fini.
I'm so glad to have that on tape. Forever. The babysitters are almost here, so I can go to my little meeting. So I'm gonna change real quick. Project. Did that just blow your mind? They're having so much fun with the babysitter, I don't even want to leave. That makes a mama happy. Thank you, Juju.
I made it by myself.
And then Fifi made one for her dad.
Oh, for Papa?
And guys.
So I'm back from my meeting, which was great, except that, so if you know anything about Toastmasters, it's a public speaking group, and so you have to be put on the spot, and it's all about trying to train your brain to like think clearly and communicate clearly. And I got chosen for table topics, which means you have to go up as if you were like asked to give a speech at a wedding or something, and then you have to go up and on stage and speak for 2 minutes. And normally I love it. Normally I like to spew random thoughts for sure. And today I got totally stumped and it was embarrassing. Thanks for watching. That's our normal day. Oh my gosh, I totally got like taken down a whole nother path like I do. Like the day started with unschooling and our journey there, and now it's ending here. But the cool thing about Toastmasters 2 tonight was that there's 2 teenagers, young teenagers, early 20s, who are unschooled, brother and sister, and they've been giving speeches on their experience, and I've been actually able to talk to both of them, and it's been fascinating to learn their 2 different journeys within the same family, and they're both glowing reviews, so it's really only adding to my bias. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.